Back roll. We'll make some back roll entries, right? So who was it that really loved the back roll entries? Gabrielle. she had us do them a couple of times, so yeah. All right, we are pretty much going to surface snorkel to a dive site, and so after we get through the pool sessions, you're going to get to enjoy practicing your snorkel. Now, those who already had their pool session got to do something called a snorkel appreciation drill. Do you guys appreciate your snorkel more after that drill? Yes. So the next group will get to do the same. Once we get to the dive site, we switch from snorkel to regulator. 3 important rules of scuba diving. Equalize early and often. Always breathe, never hold your breath. And then whenever the regulator's out of your mouth, you need to make sure that you are blowing bubbles, that you're exhaling, okay? Weighting is really important. Back in the day, and there's still some kind of old school instructors who do this, I like to call it the 10% myth. They would weight their students with 10% of their body weight, which is just way overweighted. And we now know that that is a really bad way of weighting people because they're going to be overweighted, and then achieving neutral buoyancy is not going to be an easy thing to do. So what did all of you who had your pool sessions already, how much weight did you wear? 2 pounds? 2 pounds? 3 pounds? Yeah, right? So I think the most we had maybe was 3?
4.
4? 4?
I mean, yeah.
No, not you. No.
Well, I kind of needed them.
No, you didn't.
I feel like we were slightly underweighted, but I mean, it worked fine.
So you're really small, so I would not give you 4 pounds compared to the larger men that are in the class. So did we add weight to you?
I asked, you did not. I tried to get it added. I felt a little bit underweighted.
Okay, so one of the things we need to work on with you is just relaxing in the water.
I was relaxed. I was also underweighted. But
You weren't completely relaxed, right? You have to admit you had some stressful moments in the water, right?
Okay.
Right? It's okay. It's okay. So really it's about just learning to completely relax your body and trust yourself and learn to breathe in a way that allows you to be weighted correctly. So correct weighting, if you have no air in the BC, you should still be floating above your mask. If you have too much weight, you're going to be sinking, okay? Descending on a line, we will descend on a line when we're diving in the ocean. In Panama City, we'll descend on the line. Otherwise, at the springs, we typically do not. We need to clear our ears early and often. So we clear before we descend, and then we clear constantly as we're descending. At depth, we're going to inflate our BC to become neutrally buoyant. Why? Why at depth? What happens at depth?
The air bubbles in your skin suit compress, so you become heavier.
You do become heavier at depth, yes. So neutral buoyancy looks like this. It looks like you're flat in the water, okay? And it takes some getting used to. If you're too heavy or too light, you're going to be either in a head down or foot down position. And what I normally see is people that are in a foot down position that tells me that they're too heavy. When you are ascending, you're going to check your gauges and begin a safe ascent. A safe ascent is one arm up, typically your right arm, and you're turning, you're looking, you're doing a 360 on your way up, making sure that there's no turtles above you, there's no divers above you, there's no boats above you. You always want to break the surface with your hand and not with your head, okay? There's a seat right here. Are there any other seats?
I'm here.
Okay, there's a seat here too. Mm-hmm. So if there is a line, you can descend down a line and pull yourself down the line. When we're on the boat, we'll be doing that. And same with ascent. Ascent on a line is really slow, and it's actually hand over hand. It's that slow. And so when we're ascending, we need to make sure that we don't ascend too quickly.
Is that line called something specific?
So the trail line is the thing that goes behind the boat. When you first jump in the water, you're going to grab something called the no swim line. The no swim line runs horizontal to the boat, and you're going to pull yourself along that line to the bow, the front of the boat. And then there's going to be a down line, which you're going to pull yourself down. Okay. And then the trail line is when you come up. You're going to come up that down line. You're going to do your safety stop on the line. And you have 2 hands, but try to just hold one so that people will be between 15 and 20 feet. Okay. And those are puppies in there if you're hearing noises. So for anyone who didn't know, the pregnant mother foster dog that I have gave birth to 10 babies, and one was stillborn, but the other 9 are doing well. So we had a vet checkup right before this. So, and for anyone who doesn't know, I foster a lot of animals, and I think I'm at 720 something. And so they were going to euthanize her 2 weeks ago, along with 29 other dogs in Polk County, Florida, which has the highest euthanasia rate in Florida. And I was just trying to network her and trying to find a foster to step up because I already have foster kittens. By the way, if anyone wants to adopt a kitten, I have. They are ready to go and they're adorable. But anyway, it came down to 45 minutes left for her and her babies who were going to be born within a week to be killed, and I just couldn't let it happen. So she's my new addition. You'll be seeing a lot of her and her puppies. So, all right, we want to make sure we streamline everything. So if we have anything hanging, it's going to drag on the bottom. It's going to damage coral. It's going to damage your equipment as well. So a buddy plan is very, very important. There are many advantages, including sharing the experience, but really safety is a big part of it. You're going to plan the dive together, including your depth and time, your turnaround, what you're going to see. You're going to work on your hand signals, and then what to do if you become separated. So did we do the lost buddy drill last time? Did we talk about the lost buddy drill? Okay, so what's the routine, Gabrielle?
I don't really remember.
Okay. So if you lose your buddy, what should you do? Does anyone remember? Yes.
I think you look around for a few minutes, then go to
1
the
minute.
surface if you can't find
Yeah,
it.
1 minute. So you look
Okay.
up, you look down, you look for bubbles, and then you go ahead and ascend without making your safety stop, because it could be something's wrong. And you go to the surface, and your buddy does the same. So you only look for 1 minute, and then you go to the surface, and typically you'll find each other right away and go like, oh, okay, and then you go back down and you resume your dive. Yes,
If
Tommy.
you were deep and you didn't do your safety stop, wouldn't that be a problem?
No, you're going to go back down. And so you can go up to the surface and then go back down and resume your dive, including your safety stop.
And you'd be fine with that, even if you wouldn't get. Okay.
It still count as your dive time, and so you would go back and continue your dive.
Okay.
So yes,
How do you walk that? Would you count the time up on the surface?
yeah, you're going to count the entire thing as your dive time. So, and typically it only takes, if both of you follow the 1 minute lost buddy drill, it's only going to take maybe an extra 30 seconds or so with the surface to go, oh, there you are, and then you find each other and you say, okay, let's go ahead and finish our dive. And if it's at the end of the dive, at least go back down and do your safety stop. Okay. So did we talk about gauges last time? A little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they monitor a lot of different things. So we talk about hand signals? Okay, let's go over the hand signals really quick. Show me what low on air looks like. Okay, it's the fist over the chest, right? What's out of air? What's up or ascend? Thumbs up. What's okay underwater? What's okay at the surface? This or this, right? What's hold this depth? Ear problems? And what's problems in general if you're not feeling well, right? Hi! So don't wave to anyone. What's buddy up? Yep, fingers together. Very good. Okay, so what's this?
Okay.
Okay, underwater. Okay, at the surface. Help. Ear problem. Hold this level. Buddy up. Low on air. Up air.
Very good.
Ascend.
Right. So you need to remember that ascending is a decision to end a dive. You want to exchange hand signals, check gauges, begin your ascent, let a little air out of your BC. What law is that you do this for? Boyle's law, which says what two things are related in what way? And how are they related, pressure and volume? Very good, inversely. So make sure you keep track of your buddy. The typical times when people lose their buddies are descending and ascending, okay? And then you're going to do your safety stop and surface. There's a seat right over here. Come on in. We have a new student. Come on in. I think there's just one seat left right here. Sorry. So, okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Mike.
All right. And why don't we just do a quick little introduction? So, because I bet everybody probably forgot who you are. So let's start.
I'm Max. Gabrielle.
Kate.
Holly.
Casey. Ani. Jordan.
Rick. Chris.
Frank. Mike.
Did you say Mark?
Mike.
Okay. I was like, did you just change your name? Okay. I'm the other Gabrielle. All right, good. And I know we're missing one person, I think.
Oh yeah, there's Jeff.
Yeah. So, all right. So, and then, of course, you're going to inflate your VC. Do you have your paperwork?
Oh yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's only one of them. Do you have the other stuff, the medical?
Yeah.
And, okay.
Yeah, let me go get him.
Okay, thanks. When you leave the water, you want to have your fins in your hand. Typically, we have one on each hand, mask in place, regulator, snorkel, and mouth. And then after the dive, you're going to make sure that you rinse everything really, really thoroughly, which the other class, the ones that already had their pool sessions, have learned a lot about cleaning things. So make sure that you prevent seasickness, be well rested, eat well, take medications such as Dramamine, assemble gear at the dock, and ride mid-boat. Also keep your eyes on the horizon. Did we talk about diver stress last time?
Yes.
A little bit? Okay. So when a diver has big eyes like that, what do we talk about in terms of how to react to it? What's the best process? Yes.
Stop, breathe, think, breathe, react.
Very good. Very good. Stop, breathe, think, breathe, and react. Very good. All right. And did we talk about out-of-air emergencies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Good. And we practice those in the pool session, by the way. So let's go ahead and get into dive tables then. And I'm just going to reiterate some things that we talked about last time. You want to make sure that you are planning appropriately, including if you're traveling, health, climate, weather. Make sure that you're rested. Know the who, what, when, where, why, how, and who your buddy's going to be and what equipment you're going to bring with you. On site, you want to check weather conditions and the dive profile. Now, last time we did go over the tables, right? Everyone has their tables?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead then and...
Oh, he said he's going to print it out.
Oh, he's going to go print it? Okay. Let's go ahead and get into decompression theory and dive tables. Let's just jump right in, okay? So let's go over some definitions and rules first. This is, if you want to follow along, it's in the classroom notes section. So you're going to want to find that page. The first person who finds the page, classroom notes, definitions, and rules, let us know what page it is so everybody can turn to that page.
15.
Page 15? Okay. And does it say bottom time starts at?
Yes.
Perfect. So everyone have a pen? Anyone need a pen? You need a pen? Okay. Does anyone else need a pen?
Did you say part A? Mm-hmm. Part A. I think it's part B. Oh, it's part B.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else need a pen? No. Okay. So bottom time starts at the surface and ends at the safety stop. Required decompression is too deep and too long. Recreational diving is no required stops diving. It's right here. Okay. SEI diving limits are 50 feet for 80 minutes, 80 feet for 32, and 100 feet for 18. Right now, if you look at your dive table, look at table A, and look at 50 feet, and follow that over. The number right next to 50, and the number all the way to the end where it turns black should be 80. Okay? Now look at 80, and you should see the same for 32, right? Now look at 100, and you should see 18. Whenever you are in between, you always want to round up to the next greater time or depth. Your ascent rate should be no faster than 30 feet per minute. And how slow is that? It's hand over hand. Okay? For high altitude diving, you're going to reduce your times and depths. You're going to dive even more conservatively. For flying after diving, you're going to wait 12 to 24 hours. All right, so why 12 to 24 hours? Now, if you're doing repetitive dives, more than one dive a day, you wait 24 hours on air. It's a little different on night. On air, 24 hours is the rule. If you're doing one shallow dive, then you can get away with a little bit less time. But when in doubt, always err on the side of being overly cautious. So give yourself 24 hours, okay? Residual nitrogen time, RNT, is also called depth time, and it's the time against the next dive. Total dive time is residual nitrogen time, RNT, plus ABT, actual bottom time of the next dive. Again, total bottom time, total dive time is residual nitrogen time, RNT, plus actual bottom time, ABT, of the next dive. Safety stop should end all dives for 3 minutes at 15 feet. And the range really is 15 to 20, so when you are on a line, you can have people just put one hand, don't put both hands, don't hog the line, one hand, and don't kick when you're on the line. This happens a lot when we boat dive, like in Panama City. We're just going to hang out on the line. You got to just, inflate your BC to the point where you don't need to kick to stay up, otherwise you might kick somebody in the head. So just sit there and wait, okay? And then repetitive dives account for previous dives that day, so 12 hours, previous dives that day. So let's go over tables. Everybody get your dive tables out. Table A, everyone have their dive tables? Does anyone not have their dive tables? Okay. Table A is single dive time and group letter. Table B is surface interval credit. This is credit you get for staying at the surface between dives. Table C over here is residual nitrogen time and next dive time. And then, of course, if you flip it over, table D is for dummies. This is decompression diving, which we do not do. Okay? So let's go over some problems together. Problem A. And by the way, if you've noticed some repetition here, we switched books and we switched the problems and everything not too long ago. And so my problems may vary from your problems, and we can go through multiple ones if you want, just so you know that, that some of ours may be different, okay? So what do you have for problem A? 60-41.
60 feet, 40 minutes, out of the surface for 1 hour, down to 50 feet, 31 minutes.
Okay, so let's, I think that's the same thing I have, but we shall see. Okay, so problem A, 60. So everyone look at the screen for a minute. We're going to find, you said 60 feet?
60 feet.
60 feet for how many minutes?
40 minutes.
40 minutes, so we're going to round up to 45. Everyone see that? And then we're going to follow that down. That makes us what letter?
H.
H. And then we have how long of a surface interval? 1 hour. And now what letter are we? Follow it to the left.
G.
We are a G diver. Our second dive, we want to dive to what depth? 50?
Yeah, 50.
So mine is a different problem. Okay, so we're going to look. So mine is to 60, but we'll say 50. And guys, just look at yours follow the 50 down, and you see the residual nitrogen time is 49, and the bottom number is 31. So the answer to the question, how long can your second dive be, would be 31. Now, if it was 60, then the answer would have been 11. Okay. So, and by the way, if you look at the numbers, this is where the 11 comes from. So the max time minus the residual nitrogen time. All right. If you guys could just silence your phones, I would really appreciate it. If everybody could just silence your phones, thank you. All right. We're going to go with my problem B. So everyone go ahead and figure this out for yourself. 70 feet for 20 minutes, surface interval 30 minutes. Second dive, we want to go to 50 feet. How long can we stay? And keep the answer quiet. Keep it to yourself until everybody has figured it out. So again, 70 for 20, surface interval 30, second dive 50 feet, how long can we stay? Make sure you write down that residual nitrogen time as well. Does everyone have an answer? Does anyone not have an answer? Is anyone still working? Okay. Remember, you're going to follow table A, 70 for 20. You may need to round up. Then follow it down to table B. Find where the 30 is. And then follow it over to table C. And you're going to look at 50 and C. 50 and C where they intersect.
How do you find where the 30 is on this? I don't really understand that.
So
that's
on table B,
maximum, so
you're going to see a range. You're going to see a range of numbers, and you're going to find where 30 falls between that range.
okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
So it would be this one, right? In
So,
between 52 and 10.
70
70. And then
for
go
20.
right. Yeah.
You got to round up to 23.
Yeah.
Follow that. Whoops. Let's see. 70. Follow that down. You're write that letter down too,
That
right?
E,
And
yeah.
then you're going to follow it down to
52 10.
10 to 52. So
Yeah.
you're still in E. And then you're going to follow it over to 50, where E and 50 intersect. And look at the bottom number. And that's the answer.
Oh, all right.
All right. Does everyone have an answer now?
I have the same problem as Max with trying to find 30, and I know. This
So
is
look, everybody
But
just
is
look
it
at
supposed to be
table.
precise?
Listen for a minute. Look at table B for a minute. Look at table B, and I want you to notice there's a range. 10 to 52 is the lowest one. That's where 30 is going to be. Without fail, it's going to be between, right?
Yeah.
30 falls in between 10 and 52,
Yeah.
right? So that's the number you're looking for. That's the box you're looking for.
So you always want the smallest one?
No.
Okay.
See the 30 right there? It's
Yeah,
telling
but
you how
it
long
doesn't-
your surface
It doesn't
interval
fit
is.
perfectly within that. So
Yeah, it
it's not
does. It's
supposed to-
between 10 and 52. It's between 10 and 52,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not between, 56 and 211, is it?
2 hours, 11 minutes?
56 minutes and 211. It's not there. It's between 10 minutes and 52. It's 30 minutes, falls between 10 and 52.
Okay.
You see the box there?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So those of you who have an answer, what is your answer?
45.
Does everyone have 45?
Oh, yeah. Where do we write
Did
that?
anyone not have 45?
It's not even
Okay.
I got lots of things.
You got lost at table C. So let's go through it together, okay? And I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to kind of do this, all right? So 70 for 20, 70 for 20, and I'm going to round up to what number? Yeah. 23, and then I follow it down on what letter? You always want to make sure you write the letter down too. I'm an E diver. I follow it down to between 10 and 52. What letter am I now? E diver. Now I'm going to find the 50, which falls across the top here. So see where the 50 is right there? So follow the 50 and the E and find where they intersect. And you'll see 35 is the top number, which is residual nitrogen time, and 45 is the bottom number, which is the answer. Bottom number, bottom time. Okay? That's how I remember it. So if you ever get confused, just remember bottom number, bottom time. But there's also a little cheat sheet on your dive table that tells you that the top number is residual nitrogen time. Okay? And you want to make sure you write both down. Okay? Your residual nitrogen time and your the answer to the question, which is how long can you stay. You also always want to write down the letters. Okay? All right, next problem. All right, problem C. 80 feet for 30 minutes. Surface interval 2 hours. Second dive, we want to go to 70 feet. How long can we stay? Get the answer and keep it quiet once you have it. It should be faster this time. Yes. Yes.
Oh, where do I write this though? The letters.
So the letters, right?
Yeah.
Remember what we just did with the last problem to get the letters? So this is an E, this is an E,
Oh.
right? So we'll go through it together.
All right.
Let's just have, we have a few more people still finishing. They're so cute, you guys. I'm just saying, they're so adorable. At the end, yeah. I don't want to disturb her right now because I'm trying to encourage her to nurse. She was not. She was pretty stressed out in the vet, and she wasn't nursing. And there were some really hungry little ones. Like some of them are really, really little, and some are just super fat and happy. You know how they should be. And so we're worried about the little ones. And so right now, I just have the 4 littlest ones trying to get her to nurse on them. And, so yeah. But at the end, we will because she's really sweet. Yes, good job. All right, so what is the answer?
13.
13. What did you have? Okay, so here's what we're going to do from here on. We're going to do peer teaching. And I'm going to go right away to you. You're a first person, okay? So go ahead and explain how you got 13. Yeah, just what I just did. 80 for 30 makes you what letter? Do you need to round up? 80 for 30? Okay, so speak up a little bit. All right, so 80 for 30. And did you round up at all? To what number? 32. You rounded up to 32, so then you followed it down, and that made you what letter? Okay, so you were H, and then you stayed out for 2 hours, and then you follow it over.
Why wouldn't you round up to 28?
It's 30. You always round up. 80 for 30. You're never going to round down. That would be dangerous. Okay?
Okay, so maybe I'm missing some 80, 28, 32.
Right, so the answer, so it's telling you 80 for 30. If you round it down to 28, that would be dangerous. You always want to round up. Remember, always round up for time and depth. Always round up. Okay? So 80 for 30, you're rounding up to 32. That makes you what letter? What letter?
H.
H, and then you stay out for 2 hours, you become what letter? Very good. F. And then you want to go to 70 feet. So you find where 70 and F intersect, and what do you get? 13. And what's your residual nitrogen time? 29. All right, good job. Let's go to another problem.
Oh, that's what it is.
40 feet for 1 hour. Surface interval 50 minutes, 50. Second dive, we want to go to 80 feet. How long can we stay? Keep it quiet once you have the answer. That means you got the right answer.
I'm still confused on getting
Right.
So it's supposed to fit in between, but
Yeah. So what's
this is 50 minutes. And
so find the box
yeah,
right here. Where does 50 fit in?
it fits in several places.
No, it doesn't.
right?
Nope, it does not.
It fits
Look,
exactly
this is-
between-
So this box is 10 minutes to 52 minutes. Where does 50 minutes fit in?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay.
I was thinking about this completely wrong.
Okay.
I was thinking, yeah, okay.
So because you know it doesn't 50 doesn't fit between 53
No,
and
I was thinking like the difference between the top time and the bottom time.
Okay.
No,
All right.
Yeah, that makes so much more sense.
Does everyone have an answer? Is anyone still working? What do you need? Water's right there. Right there. No. Good job. Yes. All right. I think we're good now. You got it? Yes. All right. So the correct answer is what? 3. Did you not have it? Okay. All right. You're teaching. You're gonna teach. How did you find that? Talk us through it. Speak loud enough so everybody can hear. Because you're now a teacher.
Okay, so on the first table, you go to 40 feet.
So on table A.
On table A, you go 40 feet, and then you go all the way across to an hour, which would be around 63 minutes. And you go down, and then the letter D, and you go down to find 50 minutes, which fits in between the two times. And then that's 52. And you're still
where did you go wrong? What did you think happened?
I looked for the 1 hour and table B instead of the 15 minutes, so I went up one.
Okay. Yeah, so just don't forget that, 50 is going to always fall between 10 and 52 every time. It's always going to be in that box. So, okay? Did anyone else not get it right? Yes.
What is the point of going down for only 3 minutes?
Yeah, right? That would be a bummer. So what choices do you have? And so the whole point of this is we're going to get into dive planning. This would be a bad plan, right? Who would want to do a 3-minute dive? You literally get down there and you're done. So this would not be a very good. So what are options that would help? Don't dive that deep. That's definitely a good one. Yes. What else?
A longer interval.
A surface interval. If the surface interval were 2 hours instead of 50 minutes, it would give you 10-minute dive. Okay. What else? Do you had something?
The supplemental tanks.
No.
Well, no, I'm talking about the smaller tanks.
No. No. That are you talking about for like pony bottles and stuff?
There's something in the book that I read, reading through it, that's talking about some additional tanks that you can add. Nitrox.
No. Oh, okay. That's not additional tank you add. That's getting nitrox certified. Yeah, that's different. And so that would be breathing a different gas. Would definitely give you more time. So that's a good answer. It's not adding a tank. It's actually, instead of breathing air, you're breathing enriched air, which is more oxygen in the mix, which you could do. But what would be a better choice than any of these things?
Shorten your first dive?
You could shorten the first dive or, yes, do your deepest dive first. That's definitely the answer that is the one that makes the most sense. You typically do your deepest dive first. And we'll do a reverse problem that'll show you why and how that changes. Okay, let's go to another problem. 71 feet for 20. Surface interval 2 hours and 30 minutes. Second dive, we want to go to 38 feet. How long can we stay?
Since it's 71 feet, do we have to round down to that?
Never round down. What direction do we round?
Up to 80, I mean.
Yes, we always round up. Yes, always. Always. It's a safety thing. We always round up. We always round up. We never round out. We have longer problems coming up. So you could write it on the scrap paper if you wanted. Answers. That's some good answers. You got it. Excellent. Still working?
Are we doing all three?
No. So I just said that if you wanted to use a scrap sheet of paper, because we'll get into third dive. It's okay if you used it. It's fine.
I think I'm.
Do you have an answer?
Yes.
Yeah, check it again because I don't think that's the correct answer. Okay. Yes. Yes.
We got to this part, but it goes off the board.
No, then you need to start over.
Because 80-20, so
80
yeah.
for 20
Yeah.
makes you,
Equal.
and then
Then it'll be.
surface interval. So try not to write on this because this will be,
Oh, yes.
Okay, so then
See.
and then you want to dive to 38 feet. So you're going to find the 40.
Oh,
And the answer is-
I see.
Okay. So, all right, let's see here. Yep. Yep, good job.
So,
Good job.
so
Yep, you got
and your second,
Mhm.
would be 106 minus 20. That's all.
it. Hang on, you got the right answer. I just want to make sure everyone has the right answer before we get into 3-dive problems, okay? Because if we can't do 2-dive problems, we definitely can't do 3-dive problems. So, yes. All right. Did I not check anyone's answer? The correct answer is
106.
106. Question?
Well, is that the total time for both dives?
No, that's your second
just
dive.
the second dive.
Second dive. Right?
It says it's kind of confusing the way the book talks about ABT versus.
Well, so ABT is actual bottom time. But we're going to get into that with a 3-dive problem. It'll all make a lot more sense. That's why I said please read the book, and then I'll bring clarity to it. Okay. So, all right. So 106 is the correct answer. So now let's go through a test problem. I'm going to actually walk you through it, and so you don't have to solve it, so that you'll understand the process. So I need everybody to have like 100% of your attention up here, because this is where it gets complicated. Okay? So this is the problem. First dive, 60 feet for 20. Surface interval, 60 minutes. Second dive, 50 feet for 20. Surface interval, 60 minutes. Third dive, we want to go to 40 feet. How long can we stay? By the way, when you're on a boat, 1 hour surface interval is pretty common. Like almost all the time, it's a 1 hour surface interval if you're open water diving. So this is a typical kind of thing that would happen if you were doing a 3-tank dive. So right now, I want you to look at the board as I walk you through the process. And if you want, you can also look at your dive table. But if you just focus on what's on the screen right now, you'll get to see me working the dive table. So 60 for 20, and we don't have 20, so we round up to 22. We follow that down. That makes us a D diver. Surface interval, 1 hour. And so we find where 53 and 147 is. That makes us a C diver. Second dive, we want to go to 50 feet. Now, pay attention. This is where it gets tricky. We're going to find where the 50, it does say 50 for 20, but we're going to ignore the 20 right now because we just need our residual nitrogen time since we know we're doing 3 dives. So we're going to find where the C and the 50 intersect. And we're going to grab just the top number, which is residual nitrogen time, 23. RNT, residual nitrogen time, 23. We're going to add that number to our actual bottom time of our second dive of 20 to get 43. So watch this. We're going to take our RNT of 23. We're going to add it to our actual bottom time, ABT, of 20 to get a TBT, total bottom time, of 43. Now, this is where it gets even more complicated, okay? So pay attention. So what we're going to do still on the second dive is we're now going to go back up to table A, 50 for the new number, 50 for 43. You see how that worked? Does everyone get that? So again, I can see confused looks on your faces. This is, and some of you have it and some don't. But so it's really important to remember on your second dive, you're going to grab the residual nitrogen time from table C, add it to your actual bottom time of the second dive to get a new number, in this case 43. You go back up to table A, and you're going to go same depth, new time, 43, 50 for 43, and we're going to round up to 48. Yes,
Why
Tommy?
don't we round up to 45?
Because there is no 45. 50 for 43.
Isn't there a 45 above the 50?
50 feet
Yeah, 50 feet.
for,
Oh,
for
sorry.
43
Never
minutes.
mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Gabrielle.
The only thing I'm wondering about is where you got. Oh wait, I was asked where you got 20 feet.
Okay, so look, I'm going to back up with you guys just to show you again. Everyone pay attention. Everyone pay attention. So we have 60 feet for 20. Pay attention, 60. We round up to 22. We're a D diver. We stay out for 1 hour. We're now a C diver. Here's the tricky part. Second dive, we want to go to 50 feet for 20. We only look at the 50 feet. We only look at the depth to begin with. Okay, so we're going to find where the 50 intersects with C. Grab the top number, residual nitrogen time, RNT, which is 23, top number, RNT, add it to actual bottom time, which is given to us, of 20. So now we take 20 plus 23, and we get 43. We go back up to table A, still on the second dive, 50 for 43. We round up to 48. Now we are a G diver coming out of dive number 2, okay? Now we have a surface interval of 1 hour, and that makes us an F diver. Third dive, we want to go to 40 feet. We're going to find where the 40 and the F intersect, and we're going to see that the top number is 55. That's residual nitrogen time. If we did a fourth dive, we would need that number, but the question is how long can we stay, and the answer is 80 feet. Everyone got it? Anyone confused?
80 minutes or 80 feet?
Sorry, 80 minutes. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, 80 minutes. Okay? All right. So charted out, it looks like this. It looks like this. We want to make sure that we put our letters, D, C, right? And then G and F. We want to make sure that we add those. We also want to make sure we add our RNT and our times and depths. Okay? So I suggest that whenever you're given a problem, that you start filling in the knowns to begin with, and then you go back and add the other stuff. So again, RNT 23 plus ABT 20 equals TBT 43. Got it? Questions? Okay, let's try one yourself. Everybody focus on this and quietly solve it yourself. Okay, first dive 78 for 27. Surface interval 1 hour. Second dive 50 for 30. Next surface interval 1 hour 30 minutes. Third dive we want to go to 44 feet. How long can we stay? Do not forget on your second dive to grab your residual nitrogen time off of table C, top number RNT, add it to TBT, add it to ABT, actual bottom time of 30 to get your new number, and then go back up to table A, still on your second dive. What was your answer? Oh. Try again. This number right here is wrong. So check it again. Start from the beginning.
The dash goes to 35 minutes.
This is feet. Feet.
How do we do?
Right now, just follow it. 78 for 27. Start at table A. No, show me. So, and I would suggest you don't write on your dive table, so use the other side. You're going to have it hopefully for years to come. So show me 78 for 27. Okay, so it's the right G now. No, that's depth. That's going to go right here. So depth is given to you. Guys, remember what I said. Write your knowns down. You're given a lot of information here. If you leave it blank and you try to solve it, it's going to be a lot harder. So write what you know in there. SIT means surface interval time. D is depth. BT is bottom time.
But I just, what's the RNT for? Is that for that 30 days?
For the final one.
Yeah. right here.
Nope.
Well, she's-
Hang on a second, see how many other people are stuck. That. Nope. Nobody has it right so far. Yes. Let's see. Yes. Hang on a second, guys. Just be patient. I'll come back to you. Hang on. So, guys, listen to me for a minute. I've taught this for many years. Please do not consult with your friend or your child or your parent to try to help you solve it. You'll never actually get it unless you solve it yourself. So, do your best to try to solve it yourself before you start asking other people. And I really would like us to be kind of all on the same page. Good job. And I will go back over and we'll make sure that it's clear. Yes. Good. You got it now. So typically once you start getting it, then the other problems will come easier. So for those of you who didn't get it, right now, 78 for 27, what do?
You go to 80 and then you go to 28, which is G.
80 for 28, which is a G diver, right? So everyone write G in that first little slot before the SIT, right? Surface interval 1 hour. So now what letter are you?
Yeah.
F? So go ahead and write F. Okay, and then our second dive is to 50 feet. So find where the F and the 50 intersect. Find where, on table C, find where the F and the 50 intersect. Okay, what's the top number?
42.
42, that's your residual nitrogen time. Write down 42 for RNT, right? Then you're going to add 42, your RNT, to your ABT, your actual bottom time of 30, which is your second dive, to get a new number. What's the new number?
72.
72, right? So you added 42 plus 30 to get 72. Is everyone together now, even the ones who missed it? Okay. So now we have 50 for 72, right? Aha, 50 for 72. We go back up to table A. 50 for 72. Everyone do that. 50 for 72. And you need to round up to what number?
80.
80. And now what letter are you?
Carry.
K. So write K down. You're going to stay out. Surface interval time, 1 hour 30 minutes. SIT, 1 hour 30 minutes. What letter are you now?
J.
J. So write J down. So, and then J, we need to find where 44 feet, which we need to round up to what?
45.
On table C, 45. So find where 45 and J intersect. And the bottom number is what? 19. Very good. And then what's your RNT?
83.
Right. Everyone have that? Okay. Good. Let's try to solve one independently. Solve this one, okay? 100 for 10 minutes. Surface interval 20 minutes. Second dive 50 for 50. Surface interval 1 hour 45 minutes. Third dive, we want to go to 40 feet. How long can we stay? Do not forget on your second dive to grab your residual nitrogen time, RNT, add it to your ABT, your actual bottom time of the second dive, get a new number, your TBT, go back up to table A, same depth on the second dive, new time, and continue the problem. Hang on just a minute. Need water? already been cut. Okay. Yes.
Oh, where do I start this?
Where do you start the problem?
Where there's no H on this.
So just write it on a separate page. Remember what I said? I said that things change with a book, and I'm just going to go with what I have.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, so just find a blank page and start writing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Does everyone have an answer?
Yes.
Does anyone not have an answer?
Oh, just
Okay.
vertical.
No. Try again.
Then I get to switch to the argument.
Maybe. Just try again. Go work through the problem again. Yes. Yes. You got it. You got it. Those of you who didn't get it, try again. I would venture to guess it was probably on that second dive where you need to add RNT to the ABT to get the TBT. Go back up to table A with the new numbers. So far, everybody here is good. Good. What you doing? Oh, we got a little. What is that? Ooh, a bug. Nope. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Oh, then it's
So you guys who didn't get it, go back through the problem. Just remember that RNT is really important on that second dive. Grab the RNT, add it to your ABT, your actual bottom time, to get your total bottom time. Go back up to table A. Same depth, 50 feet, new time, which is the ABT plus RNT equals TBT, and then continue the problem. Normally that's where people miss.
Do you want us to add our R&D that you got to the 15 minutes? Or is that
Which one are you talking about? Which dive are you talking about?
on the second dive, I had 29:50 and I added 50 seconds.
So continue.
oh,
So then go back up to table A, 50 for the new number. new number, the new time. Yes, questions?
Can I go to the car real quick in my water bottle?
Sure.
I thought it was 40 feet from the number.
50 feet. Again, second dive. All the work happens in the second dive. Second dive. Don't move forward with the third dive. Question?
Is there any point in noting in the last R&T?
Yeah, we always note it because they're going to ask about it on your exam, and it preps you for if you ever did more than 3 dives. And trust me, I am a scuba addict, and I typically do 5 dives in a day when I'm on trips. So
Okay.
yeah, so it just
if
preps
you're
you for
gonna
that.
do more.
Yeah.
So if you did more than 3, you would just do the same thing.
Same thing for the dive 3. Yep.
Or good.
Yes. I have, that was my first dive, and then that as my second dive. So you know, for your third dive, and it was also 79.
So what you're forgetting is something I keep telling people. Listen up. For those of you who did not get it right, listen to me one more time. It's really important. On your second dive, you need to take that depth that's given to you, which is what?
50.
50 feet. And then it's not for 50, it's for RNT plus 50. So RNT is what? 29 plus 50 is 79. So now you have to go back up to table A, 50 for 79. 50 for 79, okay? So 50 for 79 gives you what?
80.
Right, you round up to 80 and you're what letter?
Okay.
K, okay? So then you have a 1 hour 45 surface interval. So continue the problem. You have to do that step or you're always going to get it wrong, okay? So there's a lot of extra steps when you add your residual nitrogen time, but they're really important. Now you're going to get it right. You got it. Max dad. You get it, Mike?
Oh, yes. So,
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, I was going to 18s of that.
So, what should it be? Yeah. All right. So let's focus. And did I miss anyone who did not get it correct? Did everybody else get it correct? Okay.
I think I might have, but once I look at this,
The answer is 50. Did you get 50?
No, I didn't get K. I had everything up until I got until K and I, but
Okay.
and there I got F and B.
So the reason you didn't get K, I'm guessing, is that you didn't go 50 for 79.
I went to 50 feet, yeah.
On table A, 50 for 79.
50, yeah.
50 for 7. Tell me what letter you are. 50 for 79.
Okay. Wait, was the total?
50
I
for
got the
79.
total bottom time. That's fine.
Right. Do you have to add RNT, which is 29, to actual bottom time, ABT, which is 50?
Oh,
To get-
I added it to the 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is why, guys, this is why I'm saying we have to make sure we get this. For those of you who did not get this right, I'm just going to encourage you to go home and study and do the homework because you're not going to do well on the test if you can't get the 3 dive table problems correct, okay?
When's our test?
The test is next week. Are you getting the emails?
Oh, mom.
I'm emailing you, too. Check your spam filter,
All right.
okay?
I missed
Isn't
it.
it 2 weeks?
Twenty-second.
23rd.
Okay, so it's a week from, wait, it's 2 weeks from today?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, we're good. 2 weeks. Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, it's life is a blur right now. I have,
Like, wait a second.
I'm caring for 20 animals. Okay, life is a little crazier. Plus, driving back and forth. I was in Jacksonville yesterday and back, and so remember, SCUBA is my nonprofit. This is not like my job. This is what I do for volunteer work. So, and having all these classes, and then last week was it? I had a private class the entire week. We did an accelerated class. And in between, I had a bunch of people diving in Panama City, which was awesome, by the way. But so you guys are going to love it. All right, so let's
Last thing.
go ahead.
So for the Panama Day, which I believe is 5:30 to like 8.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And yeah,
Do we need it to set you at 5:30 or?
don't be late. It's really important to be on time. And actually, it might need to be a little earlier than that. I believe we met at 5 the last time, maybe 5:15. But with this many people, and we're going to carpool, I'll put a note out like asking for people to volunteer to be carpool drivers. We need people to volunteer. I hate having like, you know, 1 or 2 people in a cars. It doesn't make sense, especially at that hour. Okay, so. All right, so let's go on to some easier problems for now. I want you to look at the top, above the line, just a 2-dive problem. 80 for 20, surface interval 15, second dive for 40 feet. Keep the answer quiet to yourself and tell me how long you can stay. 2-dive problem should be super easy. Everyone have an answer? There's some stress going on with the puppies in the other room. I think she moved and decided not to let them continue to nurse. So. Everyone have an answer?
Yes.
And the answer is?
90.
Very good. So now work on the second part of the problem. So this is a new problem. First dive 40 for 45, surface interval 15. Second dive we want to go to 80 feet. How long can we stay? I want you to notice that on the first part of the problem we're doing the deepest dive first. On the second dive we're doing the shallower dive first. Okay? Does everyone have an answer? Max, do you have an answer? Okay, everyone has an answer? Anyone not have an answer? The answer is?
7.
Woo, that would be a bummer, wouldn't it? 7 minutes. 7-minute dive. So yeah, this is why we typically do our deepest dive first. So, all right, now we're going to do a find the surface interval problem. So let's just say we have 2 dives we want to do to 80 feet. Maybe it's a shipwreck, okay? So we're going to dive the same shipwreck twice. And so we want to look at 80 for 30. And I'm just going to walk you through this. One finger is going to go on table A. The other finger is going to go on table C. Now, when you're looking at 80 for 20, the second dive, which number, the top or bottom number, are you going to be looking at? We're talking about bottom time. Bottom number. And you may need to round up. So again, first, you're going to take one hand on table A, look at 80 for 30, find your letter. Look at the other hand, goes on table C, look at 80 for 20, looking at the bottom number, you may need to round up. And then find where they intersect, and then the answer is going to be the lowest of that range of numbers, is the minimum surface interval time. Okay, so go ahead and try that. Table C. Remember, one finger goes on table A to find the first part of the problem, the other one on table C, and remember what I said, you're going to follow the 80 down to the bottom number, and if you might have to round up, the bottom number, see that? Now follow that over and find where it intersects, and grab the, in that range, grab the lowest of the numbers. Good. Good. Yes. So, let's see, show me. Yes. So the bottom of the numbers, the range.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So the bottom of, no, that's good. You're just gonna, in the range, you want to grab the lowest number, because the question is, what's the minimum surface interval requirement? Okay. That's good. You got it. You got it. So it's the lowest of the numbers.
Okay.
No.
You
So-
said the lowest, so the lowest.
So this is, look, this is telling you 80 for 30, and you wrote down 36. 80 for 30.
Oh, that's 30.
That is a 0? Okay. So follow 80 for 30.
80 would be 30 right here.
Mm-hmm. And what letter are you?
H. Oh, I was
H, okay, so you're an H there. Now 80 for 20 on table C. 80 for 20.
B right here.
No. Remember what I said, it's the bottom number is bottom time. Bottom number is bottom time. Okay? So which one is it? Follow it down again. 80 for 20.
This one.
Yes. Because you're rounding up. Now, so you're a B there. So find where the B and the H intersect.
It'd be 517.
Correct. All right, so the right answer is what?
517.
517. Anyone not get that with some assistance? Okay, let's go to the next problem. First dive 70 for 35, second dive 50 for 50. What's the minimum surface interval requirement? We should all get this a lot faster.
So you don't like doing the decompression stops, right?
I don't like decompression
You don't-
stuff.
Yeah, or you do them or you don't, or?
I'm confused by the question.
Okay, we don't do decompression stops,
No.
right? Okay,
No.
Do some people do
No.
decompression stops?
No.
What's the difference between safety stops and decompression
Safety stops are something we do every dive without fail, unless it's a really shallow. Like if we did a 15-foot dive, we wouldn't do a safety stop. If we did anything less than 1 atmosphere below the surface, we wouldn't need to. Now, if we did one, it wouldn't be a problem. Okay, so if we did a 20-foot dive and we did a safety stop at 15 feet, that would be okay, but it's unnecessary. A deco stop is really for technical divers or people who messed up, who are recreational divers. So
Okay.
it's not anything we do unless we've really messed up, which we will go through some problems. All right, so does everyone have an answer to this?
Oh, yeah.
And the answer is?
330.
330.
Did everyone have 330?
Yes.
Did anyone not have 330? You did not have it. Okay. So peer teaching, Gabrielle, I want you to show Max how you got that answer. And go ahead and speak loud enough for all of us to hear.
So you want to take your 70 feet for 35, and that would be 37, and you would take H, and I just wrote down H. And then you want to take your 50 for 50, which would have to be 51, because there is no credit 50, and that would be D.
50
No,
for
that's-
50.
It's the bottom number.
Bottom number. Remember, I gave you a whole bunch of hints each time, right? 50 for 50, right? bottom number. So then you follow it over. So follow it over. And what letter do you get? So D, right? So you're going to find where the D and the H intersect to get that. All right, one last chance to get a surface interval problem. So 70 for 32 and 50 for 30. What's our minimum surface interval requirement? All right, does everyone have an answer? Does anybody not have an answer? And the answer is?
10.
Did anyone not have 10? Everyone had 10? You did not have 10. All right. Peer assistants, you're the teacher this time. Go ahead. Speak up a little bit so the rest of us can hear your reasoning. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do wrong?
I looked at the top number on tables instead of the bottom. I went to 50 and then I originally had E instead of G.
Okay. Bottom number, bottom time. Okay? All right. Problem M. Everybody, let's work this together. First dive is 60 feet for 70 minutes. Everyone look at 60 for 70 on table A. $60 for 70 on table A. Everybody look at 60 for 70 on table A. Okay, we have a problem. Somebody messed up. So what do we need to do? Table D for dummies. Table D for dummies, right? The maximum. So I want you to turn over to the back side of the table for table D. You messed up. And I want you to try to figure this out. So by the way, decompression stops are always done at 20 feet instead of 15 feet. How long do you need to stay? Right now, look at 60 and follow it over and tell me how long you think you need to stay.
No, 20 minutes.
14 minutes. 14
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
Okay, 14 minutes. And if you look at the top at the labels, it's really the decompression stop. That's all you need to know. The rest is just making sure you have a nice slow ascent. Okay?
What's
So-
the time of the first stop?
So remember what I said about stopping along the way. Just disregard it. But typically, if we do
That
it,
was over 100 feet.
it is normally. So this is just yes. I mean, honestly, I have never needed to do a decompression stop because I plan my dives and I dive my plan, and so I don't need to do deco stops. I've dived with people who need to do them, which is sad to me. And the problem is that, let's just say that you have a really long requirement and you don't have enough air. Guess what happens? What do you think?
But you run out of air.
Yeah, so what are your choices? So if I'm the person who's trying to assist them, I may have to go back on the boat, get them a whole other rig, because you can't change out cylinders underwater. Get them a whole other rig, bring it back down to them, or they're not going to be able to dive anymore. They're done.
Wouldn't this be the point of just carrying a pony bottle in
No,
reserve?
no,
But
no.
if you do get-
No, absolutely not. A pony bottle is for people who are wanting extra air, okay? Pony bottles are, honestly, when I see somebody with a pony bottle, unless it's a photographer, I swim away as fast as I can. I've been diving my whole life, and I can tell you that anyone who dives with a pony bottle is somebody who pushes the limits. If you need to do a deco stop, you're not paying attention to your gauge. You're not paying attention to your plan. If you plan, and maybe you change the plan a little bit, okay, you should at least have some familiarity with the dive tables. And the nice thing about these tables is they're waterproof. You can put them in your VC pocket. Okay, I have a lot of familiarity with them because I've been using them for a long time. But let's just say you didn't. Bring it with you. And underwater, you can go, oh, wow, we're going a little bit long. What do we need to do? Okay, well, let's just make sure that we stop by this time. We went deeper than we were planning. Let's shorten our dive, and then we can do our second dive shallower, and we'll be okay. We won't need to do a deco stop. Okay? So trust me, pony bottles are not the answer. This is really for people who are not good at paying attention. I don't want to dive with people who have pony bottles. I have dived with photographers, and I get it, because they're so focused on getting their shot that they aren't always paying attention. Now, I'm a photographer. I'm a professional underwater photographer. I've worked on boats in the Galapagos Islands teaching people photography. Bless you. But I'm different. I'm not your typical photographer. I owned a video production company for 10 years. I started it when I was 18 years old. It was my first business. And I just have this way of understanding that if your eye is always in the lens, you're missing everything else around you. So I have one eye here, and the other eye is looking around for things that I might not see. I've seen photographers so focused on their subject that they're missing something really, really cool behind them. And in some cases, they're missing their dive buddy or who has an issue. So I will, in a heartbeat, drop the camera to help somebody or whatever. I'm different. But most of my photographer friends are very, very focused on just getting the shot. And they'll sit there for 30 minutes. They'll sit there with one thing, just focused on taking picture after picture after picture. And that's cool, but it's not what I do. So if you dive with a photographer, a professional photographer, be prepared to not have a buddy who pays attention to you. So, okay? But don't ever think that you need to carry an extra bottle along. I have never run out of air except for one time, and it was saving somebody's life. Did I tell you the story?
You said you were going
I told you I was going to tell you the story. Okay, so here's the story. Dive number 800. I was in the Galapagos Islands, and it was always my dream to dive with whale sharks. I love whale sharks. I love anything, really, but whale sharks are so cool. So it was dive number 800, and I was the trip photographer for this trip. And there was a videographer as well who was the dive master, and then there were a lot of seemingly very experienced divers. Now let me cut to the day before. I was with this group where they pair you with dive buddies based on some information you fill out, which is great because I travel a lot alone, and I started to connect with really great dive buddies. So this was maybe the 5th trip with this group or so. And we met the night before in a hotel, and there was this one woman who was really, really loud, and she kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I thought, I hope she's not on my boat, because they take 16 divers and they divide them into 8, and I knew she wasn't my dive buddy, so that I was happy about, but there was just something about her, I thought, and she was bragging about her diving. By the way, if you hear anybody talking about what a great diver they are, run away as fast as you can, okay? Or if they have, like Scuba Steve, they have all the latest, greatest equipment, then they may not be a great diver. I'm just saying. So what happened was we got on the boat, and sure enough, she was on a different Panga than me. Panga's a small inflatable boat. And so I was happy because I just like peace and quiet when I dive. I like to just enjoy and she was really, really loud and kind of crude and lewd and obnoxious and just not my thing. If it is your thing, great. So So we're diving, and I could tell right away she was way overweighted. She was a big woman, but she was way, way overweighted. I think she was wearing 30 pounds, which was 10% of her body weight probably, which not a very good idea. Galapagos Islands are known for heavy current, and you really need to have good buoyancy. You may want to be overweighted in some circumstances, but never to that point. So I noticed that in our first dive, she was on the other boat, but I could see them across the way. Visibility was good. And I noticed she was in a foot down position the whole time, like the Energizer Bunny. And I thought, she's a really bad diver. She's kicking, sand up and impacting the environment. And I just thought, oh, this is terrible. So cut to dive number 800. And along comes a whale shark, and we're near the end of our dive. Now, I have very good air consumption. I'm very aware of how much air is in my cylinder, and I knew that I had a good amount of air when this whale shark came along, but I also did not, because it was near the end of our dive when it came. And I was so excited, and I started taking pictures, and I saw the videographer, and we're like swimming along, and the whale shark swims pretty fast. All of a sudden, the whale shark, and the next thing I know is I see this woman, not on my boat, doing this, okay? It's giving me the out of air signal, and I'm looking around like, where is her buddy? Where is, what's happening? And so, of course, I grab my octopus and I start swimming toward her. Now, when I was being trained, nobody ever told me that somebody may try to hurt you if you're saving their life. Nobody told me that. So I will tell you that. During the pool sessions, you'll have opportunities to practice, which we did with the last group. You'll have opportunities to practice where I'm going to stress to you that victims, people who are struggling, they may grab you, they may try to hurt you, and it's not necessarily what they mean to do, but when people are panicked, they're not in their right mind. And so that's what happened. This woman, basically, I gave her my octopus, and she was hyperventilating off of the regulator. She was, and I'm thinking, we were at 80 feet, by the way. We were at 80 feet, okay? And I knew that I was, and I thought, okay. And then she did a bear hug on me. Okay, her adrenaline was more than I could overpower. And all these thoughts started going through my head. Like, at least I saw a whale shark before I died. At least my parents knew that I was doing something I loved, truly, because I could feel us sinking. She was so overweighted, and I could feel us sinking. I could feel my ears, and we ended up hitting, and I didn't know this because I couldn't see my gauge, but I knew we were sinking, 120 feet. So from 80 to 120, every thought in my head was going on, I could probably hurt her and save myself, and then I thought I couldn't live with that. I couldn't live with that. And I thought, what am I going to do? And so I'm very calm, which is the only way that I got out of it. And I was talking to her. I'm one of the only people you'll ever meet who talks to people when we're scuba diving. So I'm saying to her, calm down, calm down. And she's, and I can feel the air is getting lower and lower, and we're sinking. And I was struggling, trying to get, the death grip that she had on me off. And I managed to get, because I think something switched in my head where I was like, at one point I felt defeated, like this is it. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to let her take my life here. I have a lot more diving I want to do. I have a lot of things I want to see. And so I didn't want to hurt her, though. And so I was just kind of struggling. I managed to get one finger to my inflator, and I started to inflate it. And now, if your choice is drowning or getting decompression sickness, always choose decompression sickness. Don't worry about your ascent rate. I got a little bit, and then I could tell I was nearing the end of my air because she was sucking the life out of my cylinder. And I thought, if this is how she behaved having air, what is she going to do when she runs out? And, my peripheral vision, I'm scanning, I'm staying calm, which is the only thing that kept us alive. And I saw the most experienced diver on the trip. And he saw what was going on. And he swam over, and he literally pried her off of me. But he told me, we debriefed about it later, and he said it took every ounce of effort he had to get her to stop this bear grip on me. Now, what happened was we're back up to 80 feet by this point, and I feel it's the end. Okay, I have two choices. I have two choices. I can do a 3-way breathing, or I can try to save myself. And something in my head said, if you stay with her, you're going to die. Get away from her. And so I just very calmly continued to the surface, and I could feel I was done with air. I was done, and I'm blowing bubbles. I'm thinking training, blowing bubbles, and then there was nothing left. But you always want to attempt to breathe. And I got like a little tiny, maybe a half a breath, and that was it. And then I got to about 20 feet, and I saw the dive master, and his eyes were huge. And I have no idea what happened to him to this day. He claims he was part of the rescue, but nobody saw him. So something happened to him. His eyes were huge. He was a local. He asked me if I was okay, and I said no. I had a choice. I could stop with him or keep going. And I thought, I'm going to be okay. I'm at peace. I'm going to be okay. Got myself to the surface, and I got myself to the surface, and just something in me knew that I was going to be okay, even though I didn't do a safety stop, and even though, of course, I went on oxygen. But anyway, so what happened was, about 10 minutes later, Bill, the guy who took over from what I did, brought her to the surface, and she was still hyperventilating. And I thought, I'm going to let her calm down, and then I'm going to confront her, And because she had been bragging about what a great diver she was and how she had all this training, So she gets on the boat, and she's, and I let her just kind of calm. And I said, did you hear what I said to you back there? And she's like, yeah. And I said, what did I say? She said, you said calm down. I said, why were you hyperventilating off my cylinder? You made us run out of air. And she didn't answer. And I said, you could have killed us. She didn't apologize. Nothing happened, okay? So Bill ended up going back down to his wife and doing his safety stop. But he also had ascended too quickly because he ran out of air trying to save her. So we had 3 people now who needed oxygen. So we get back to the boat, and it turns out they were really only equipped for 2 people. Yeah. So something in me felt like I was okay. I know that sounds weird, but I was like, Bill and we shared a little bit, and then I'm like, I'm okay. And I was okay. Everybody was okay. But I guess what happened was because I later found out, the dive master told me that the reason, he never told me why his eyes were big and what happened on that dive. What he did tell me was the week before, the same kind of thing happened, and an American woman, like in her 30s, died. And that they didn't have anywhere on the boat to transport the body, so it had to go back in the cabin. And so the roommate had to sleep on the deck. And when he told me that, like everything switched. I'd been cool and calm, and then I was just like freaking out over what could have happened, Ultimately, I did run into Bill at a DEMA show, which is the biggest dive show in the industry, and I said, help me out here. I've been thinking about this over and over again. What would you have done differently? And he said, I would have probably hurt her. And I said, I thought about it. I couldn't do it. And he said, no, you did everything right. And, staying calm is probably what saved your lives. And I was just like, I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't shown up when you did. And he said, we're all here. It's okay. That's the only time I've ever run out of air, ever, was trying to save somebody else's life. Now, I did get an email from her about 45 days or so after the dive, and it just said, thank you for saving my life. So, yeah. So that's my story. And if you pay attention, you will never, ever, ever run out of air. Okay? So pay attention. Scuba diving, if you're safe about it, if you're smart about it, it's an incredibly safe sport. But if you take risks, if you dive beyond your training, if you get cocky or complacent, you're going to end up with problems. So one of the things that you'll see, for those of you who haven't had a pool session with me yet, is I'm a stickler for safety. And it might feel like overkill, but I've had people a year, 2 years, 5 years after I trained them say, you know how you taught us to do this? Well, I did what you said, and my buddy did not, and bad things happen, And so I'm just saying there's a reason that I'm such a stickler for safety, and I just want you all to enjoy diving, but also to have it be a lifelong sport that you don't have to stress over. Don't push the limits. Don't ever think you need a pony bottle or anything else. Okay. All right. That's my story. So, so again, on problem M, all we did was follow it down to 60, and then we went over to 14. Okay? So we found 60 for 70, and then we found 14. All right, problem N. First dive 80 for 50. Decompression is required at what depth for what time? 80 for 50. Look at table D. Everyone have an answer? Anyone not have an answer? The answer is? 24. Did everyone have 24? Great. All right, here's another problem. Our plan dive was 80 for 25 minutes, but we saw a whale shark, and we followed that whale shark to 110 feet for 25 minutes. What do we need to do? 110 for 25. Does everyone have an answer? Okay. Anyone not have an answer? The answer is? 14. Okay. All right. Yes, question, Tommy.
Would you ever do it at a different depth?
No, 20 is the standard for deco diving.
Okay.
Unless you're getting into highly technical diving, which I am a tech diver, and then we'll have multiple stops with switching gases and everything, but for recreational divers, it's always 20 feet. Yes?
Well, question about, we keep saying bottom time, so does that include the 2-minute ascent, or are we saying on the...
It does include the ascent. What it does not include is the safety stop up.
Right, so that, when you say you actually go for 25 minutes, it means you were down there for 21 minutes and then you came up.
No, it means 25. 25 is from the time you descended until the safety stop. So you were actually probably down there for more like 29 minutes because you had the 3 minutes plus the ascent from 15 feet. Okay?
It says or the surface, so some there is sometimes you don't put the surface.
So you would only, there are times, like I have a lot of friends who've been scalloping lately in the Gulf of Mexico, and they've been in 15 feet of water, and there's no need to do a safety stop at 15 feet, right? They're already doing one the whole time.
You said anything under 1 atmosphere.
Under 1 atmosphere. So typically 30 feet, 32 feet, you don't really need to do one. So, okay?
But it doesn't matter.
If you did decide to do one, hey, nobody will, somebody might tease you, but that's okay. I've been teased for a lot of things through the years, including wearing a snorkel, because it's not cool to wear a snorkel, but I have had many times when it's saved me, or when I've saved other people. So it is, don't do things just because everybody else is doing it. Trust me, I'm going to train you the right way so you're going to be great divers. You're going to be safe divers. You'll see all kinds of people doing things wrong, but don't ever get complacent and follow what other people are doing, okay? All right, so when it comes to special procedures planning for cold or strenuous diving, you're always going to round up to the next greater time. We're just basically going to be more conservative each time. If we ascend too quickly, we're going to extend our safety stop by 2 minutes. So it's normally 3 minutes. We're going to make it 5-minute safety stop. So if somebody ascends too quickly. If we needed to do a decompression stop because we messed up, but we didn't have enough air to do it, we would be required to stay out of the water for at least 24 hours and breathe pure oxygen. You should always have contingency plans as well. Any scouts in here by any chance? Any scouts? Nobody? Nobody's ever been a scout? You have? Okay. All right. So you know about contingency planning if you're a scout. So, but we always think about what ifs. And so really good divers never get complacent. We're always drilling. We're always doing more training, more skills. we never think that we're good, and that keeps us safe and fresh on everything. So. All right, so Dive Computers, I wanted to share with you a little bit about Dive Computers. Basically what they do is, the dive tables are the most conservative way to dive. So what they do is, you're using the tables based on your max depth. So let's say that we hit 60 feet in Panama City, but we do a 20-minute dive, and I'll show you the puppy soon because she has broken off from them. I think she probably needs to go outside. Please don't mess in my office. So I bet that's it. Can we take a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Let's take a 5-minute break. If anyone wants to see puppies, come see them.
Can I grab a glass of water?
They'll start to look more like puppies soon. I swear. I'm trying on your teacher. Can you guys help me look for a leash? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Ellie! Ellie! Come on! Come on, it's right. Good girl. Come on, easy girl. It's okay, babies are okay. Come on.
I should go scuba.
Yeah. Because I'm sure that baby dogs know
It
how
took
to
me a while, but I understand these dive tables completely now.
Yeah, I understand them like 98%.
So, okay. So, what were you on? What happened before I got here? Wait, I didn't know those.
A little bit of review, not much else.
But what did you talk about?
I don't think it's anything important.
Okay, just like reviewing everything you've already learned.
Yeah. And she was making sure that everyone had read the books, which some people had not.
Well, I'm sure that it was important. Well, we might have covered it. But this wasn't good. This wasn't bad, yeah.
Yeah, that was the dive ball was in the ball.
It's like the dive ball. No, it's I thought you subtracted like the bottom number from the top number. And that it was supposed to somehow match.
If they had to subtract them, why would they just tell you what?
I know. It didn't make any sense to me, and I was very confused.
I think it's hard for a book to explain things when the book can't anticipate what questions will have. But you don't have to.
Okay, they are waterproof.
I know, I was wondering.
They don't feel so waterproof, and you know, I could feel like a little bit of rust on them.
You just pour water onto your thing
ripped off, so it had to. Now I kind of just want to play with the water. Max, you want some water?
Alright, so our next session is in 4 days. Yeah, the accelerator.
Yes, these are
Yeah, the accelerator sessions.
Max, imagine if they weren't waterproof and just really quick. Yeah, we have backup. The reason is even if you intend never to use it, it's like a backup to your backup. Or if you're resting.
Okay, so thank you guys for letting us take a quick break.
No, but you would never
Yeah,
actually
she
use
needed
it, hopefully.
So aren't they adorable?
Yes.
And I can tell you on day one they didn't look like puppies at all. They're looking more like puppies now. So yeah, guinea pigs.
It brings a smile to my face.
Aw, good. I know. I love their little sounds. Did you hear them?
Yeah.
Yeah. A little like birds. So for those of you who ever are interested in dive computers, there are benefits and there are drawbacks, right? So one thing is that when we dive tables, we are being the most conservative possible. So what we're doing is we're calculating our bottom time based on the maximum bottom time we hit. So if we have a 60-foot dive and for 20 minutes, but we were really only at 60 feet for 8 of those 20 minutes, the dive computer is going to make adjustments for that. Now, is it ever wrong to be too safe? No. So, but most people, after you get experience under your belt and you want to keep diving, you probably go with a dive computer. Now, I have seen people use dive computers and not know enough about the dive tables and make mistakes. And so you still need to know your tables. And in some cases, dive computers mess up their technology. And so if you don't know your tables, then it's not a good thing. So there are a lot of different kinds of computers, including standard, advanced, air integrated, and hoseless. And typical features are going to be depth, no decode time, max depth, bottom time, ascent rate. That's one pretty cool thing that it'll do is it'll beep at you if you're ascending too quickly. It'll have a logbook memory, so it'll track your dives. It may have nitrox planning as well and pre-dive planning. And a lot of them have lights and memories and simulators and things like that. So, yeah, I have a couple, but I still know my tables, though. It's good. And then it'll calculate how much airtime is remaining as well. Hoseless are another option. And then those of you who ever rent, if you go to some places where you go, they will make you rent a computer. And I want to make you aware that not all of them will actually work until they hit water, or in some cases they have to go to 5 feet of depth. Okay, now that's not the kind of computer I would want, but I have seen it quite a bit with rentals, is they'll have the kind of computer that only turns on when you start diving. And so if you try to press a button to turn it on and it doesn't turn on, just ask them, is this water activated? And if they say yes, then you know that you have to wait for it. Tommy, did you have a question?
Don't some like boats require dive computers?
No.
Okay, I thought, okay, maybe.
No. They might require things like SMBs, surface marker buoys,
Okay.
things like that.
I would test them to make sure if they don't activate something.
So typically they would have tested them, you know, to make sure that they're working. But yeah, I don't really like I want to have, you know, I want to know that they're working before I descend. Supposedly, you know, they should have checked them, but you never know. So anyway, they do give you a lot of good information on them. And they'll even show you how changing your depth from a deeper depth to a more shallow depth will increase your bottom time. And likewise, if you descend, you're going to go through air a lot faster. Okay? The ascent rate bar graph, it'll definitely tell you when you've ascended too quickly, which is a good thing. But if you do get a computer, read the manual before diving. Please, because I'm a geek. I taught computer science at the U.S. Military Academy, and I love technology, but I don't love sitting on a boat and not looking at the ocean and having to work on somebody's computer for them. So make sure that you read. And that was Module 6. Dive safely, dive conservatively, and don't get bent. Bent is the slang term for getting decompression sickness. That's it. That's all I have, actually, unless you wanted to do some reviews, which we typically do reviews in the final session. We'll start with review, and then we'll go into the test. Questions? Does anyone by any chance happen to have a functioning printer? I do not have one, and I could really use some help printing. Okay, awesome. Can you just email me, and I'll send you the answer sheet for the test, and thank you. Yeah.
Is the test, how is it?
So it's multiple choice for the most part, except there are some dive table problems where you need to actually work through it. One problem in particular, there are 50 questions on the test, and question 50 will challenge you with the 3-dive problem. But you'll need to work some things in reverse, including finding the surface interval. So get really ready for that. Yes.
How many do you need?
You need to have 80% or more to pass. Let me see if I have this here. Let's see, somewhere. Somewhere I have it. I'm going to share it with you at the end, but I think it's 80%. Here it is. Okay. It is 80% and above is passing, 60 to 79 requires oral review, 50 to 59 retake the test, below 50 retake the course. I can tell you that we always do oral review. What we're going to do is you're going to self-grade, and we're going to go around the room. We're going to say question 1, max, you know, question 2, and we'll go around the room and everybody will answer a question. And if I sense that you know the answer and you're not giving me the right answer, if you're the person asking the question, I may ask you another question to see if you know and give you an opportunity to get it right. Okay? So, all right. Any other thoughts, questions? For those of you who were in the pool session, last time I only had one person respond with a follow-up information, which was how much weight were you wearing? I only had one person do that. Okay, thank you for the one person who did it. So for everybody else, make sure that you follow up with me. How much weight were you wearing? What were the questions?
She wanted to know what size your BC was.
What size your BC was?
What kind of, like 4 pocket, 5 pocket.
How many pockets your weight?
Your regular weight. How much your weight was.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all you need to do. So how many pockets, how much weight you were wearing, and what size your BC was.
I got a question. This is a study guide. Is this page?
Yeah, no. So remember, they changed the books, and that.
Oh, yeah.
So this is not going to be page 22. Yeah.
So I've been doing the homework along with reading.
Yeah.
There are, like, if I got stuck on some of them, or like I have a couple more chapters to finish the homework part of it. If there's like questions I'm not sure about, can I email them to you?
You can, or feel free to connect with your classmates too.
Okay.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. We have the third one, but I that's more of just a review and the exams.
Correct. The third one is we're going to have a review session, and then we're going to have the exams. We're going to go through some review problems. Guys, for your exam, you really want to focus on the laws. Make sure you know Henry's Law, Boyle's Law. Make sure that you know the concepts. Anytime during the lecture I said this is important, you need to know this. This will probably be on your test, then those are things that you need to know. Okay? So, any other thoughts or questions? Questions? Okay.
Is everyone here for the last one?
Everybody's going to be here. Right? Everybody's going to be here on the 20... The 22nd? Is it the 22nd? Yes. Tommy.
Aaron, your tanks ever go back?
The 22nd.
Yeah.
No.
So you can just fill up a tank with that 100 years.
Not 100 years. I wouldn't recommend that.
Slight exaggeration.
Yeah. I don't know. Technically, if nothing got into it,
Yeah.
then it should be okay. But if it was like a few years, I would probably want to drain it and get more, just because I'm funny like that. Like, I don't know.
I would get that because if somehow it got contaminated.
Yeah. So any other questions?
Oh,
Yes.
when do you need our headshots for the certification?
ASAP.
Okay.
The sooner you get them to me, the more I can. Here's what I don't want to do, guys, and this happens all the time. I'm begging people. I'm ending up texting people like, "Hey, I haven't gotten your headshot yet for your photo ID. I don't really want to chase. I have a lot other things I want to be doing with my time than having to chase everybody for their headshots. Send me something that looks somewhat like a passport picture. Okay, no selfies. No, I had a girl do a bikini selfie shot. Don't do that, please. Okay, just a headshot. So and it needs to be less than 1 meg. And if it's not, then I need to resize it. So I'd love it if you send it to me less than 1 meg. Okay, and ideally you've named the file your name, your first and last name. Yes.
Oh, so you want us to go over email instead of text message?
Email, please. Okay, I love texting, but I don't love needing to take pictures that were texted to me and then get them. Right. I really don't love that. So make sure you email them to me.
Can we take a picture of our passport picture to have it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can do that.
I'm in the process.
But you know what? Let me just say that a passport picture is not very flattering these days. They don't let you smile. I would just have somebody take your picture with your phone or something. Seriously. I have a non-distracting background and smile. That's all. No hats, no sunglasses are allowed.
They let me smile with my passport.
They did?
They just can't show it to you.
Yeah, they were just like, ooh,
I've had my passport for, I guess, how long are they good for? Mine is due next
10 years.
10 years. I think it's 10 years, and mine is due in 2020. So they did not let me smile, which was really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes funny that you can't smile.
I know. All right. Please message me if you don't mind printing some things for me. I would love that. I need to get somebody to fix the printer. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. If you just put it in the kitchen, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, they can stay here. Yeah.
And it was only until afterwards that I actually started.
Question about the session is July 13th. So we just bring the 4 things that we bought, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else we have to bring, like no PC or all that?
No, I have everything.
Alright.
Yeah.
Oh, so we'll see you on the 13th.
Yes. I'll see you on the 15th. That's, guys, so the 13th is coming up really fast, right? That's this weekend.
Yeah, I thought I turned it in, but I just found it. So.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. And do you have your form?
Oh, yeah, Mom was coming back with it.
Okay. All right, great.
And it was just about.
Yeah, so this is what you needed.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
I think my dad and I kind of thought this was done at like 9. So, yeah.
Well, I have not complained with being
Yeah, it's not a bad thing when you're ahead of
But,
schedule.
could you like just give me some more problems about those like?
It's in your homework. Go to do the homework.
Okay, I looked
Yep.
at the homework and I didn't see much of it. But
Yep,
maybe I
they're
just-